everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and back again this week, as always, with the good folks from TCGplayer, letting me make these videos for you. And this week we have a pretty fun one. So, I showed off Mono Blue Living End when it was a thing back in the day, and now we have a new card from Ravnica Allegiance, Electrodominance, that is just completely changing the archetype, making a huge impact on Modern all by itself. Now, what do I want to do right here? I actually want to play this Scalding Tarn, I think, and just pass. No need to cycle this turn, or we might, might go ahead and shock ourselves, depending on what our opponent's up to here. But so the point of this deck is to use Electrodominance, which says red, and X. Pay X. X deals X damage to target creature or player, and you get to cast a card from your hand with converted mana cost X or less. So nice little value card in itself, but take As Foretold alongside it. Now you have 8 ways to cast spells for free when those spells are Ancestral, Vision, and Living End have no converted mana cost, and therefore X is 0 in those cases. So that's pretty sweet. So you add in a bunch of, you can see here, a bunch of blue and red cycling creatures. You put in some counter magic, you put in the As Foretold, the Living Ends, and you got yourself a deck. I really like Izzet Charm even rounding it out here. I do want to shout out, this was, somebody named Hayseed, who first 5-0'd with this particular list online. Now, I have been aware of this for a long time, as I think a lot of Modern players have, of this this mono blue Living End deck. But yeah, it's getting a resurgence here, and I'm pretty excited. And now it's blue-red, of course. So big hopes here for Electro End, as I'm going to call it. So we'll see what our opponent's up to here. Seachrome Coast pass. I mean, I don't know. Could be a bad start by humans. I'm going to shock myself. I don't know if that was a good or a bad idea, but my opponent's not going to play one drop or anything. I'll give it a shot. Now, we can untap here, and we'll get to pass the turn with Remand up if we want it. And if we don't want it, well, that's actually a perfectly fine draw in this deck. In the old Living End deck, you hated drawing Living End. And I played Living End to a lot of success back in the day. I mean, I top 8'd multiple PTQs with it, all that sort of stuff back in Extended, when I still have the deck in its original sleeves, as a matter of fact, about 5 feet behind me. So I've taken foiling it out. I have most of it foiled. So that's pretty neat. That's just an aside. But so this version of the deck I don't have built in paper, but I do think it's pretty sweet all around. So if our opponent does something worth remanding here, we'll do that. If not, we will, just going to cycle stuff instead. And you know what? I'm in for this. And cycle his Curator Mysteries here. Well, that's, I guess that's fine. We also have Izzet Charm, which does everything you needed to. All right, there's the land we wanted. Double Remand, huh? You know what? I don't see any reason not to just go for it. I mean, I don't know what my opponent's up to, but this is a counter spell or they're dead. So Seachrome Coast is a little odd out of a straight control deck. But it looks like that might be what's happening here. I mean, if this resolves, they're in trouble. I'm just instantly going to cast 2 Living Ends and try to get my creatures back. Oh, they just have Remands. Okay. Well, Remand is definitely annoying, but I guess still I have no idea what my opponent's actually up to over there. If that was a Hallowed Fountain or basically anything but a Seachrome Coast, I'd be like, okay, they're blue-white control. And I might not have gone for the As Foretold there, although I still might have. But Remand, Seachrome Coast, Plains, Windswept Heath, I don't actually know what we're up against here. And Ops as well. Could it be some sort of blue-white combo deck? Blue-white-red combo deck? This is going to be Enduring Renewal or something. Something silly. Impact Trimmers. Something fun like that, I hope. I'd also really hope to find some lands here. It's not happening. Oh, well, this worked, though, so we might just have our problem solved here. I should go ahead and... I can only cast 1 a turn, so I'll go ahead and try for 1 now. Because if it works, it's going to win us the game, most likely. And if it doesn't, we'll try next turn with Counter Magic backup. So there you go. We did it! It's turn... I guess it is turn 4, to be fair, but we have what is that? That's 14 power in play when our opponent at 18, huh? So, might be on to game 2 here. Still no idea what my opponent's up to, but I guess they could have a Wrath spell, right? They could play Wrath of God here. This card's also pretty cool, by the way. Whenever you cycle or discard Scry 1, play Izzet Charms, and you get a discard for value in Scry. Obviously, it works when you just cycle something as well. So, all right, let's see what my opponent is attempting to put together over there. I mean, maybe we're just dead to their combo. I have no idea what they're up to. They have, quote-unquote real cards, right? They have the mana base, they have the fetch lands, so, I don't think we're up against a budget brew here. I think we're definitely up against a brew, and maybe it's a budget brew, but it's like they've put the work into it, that's for sure. Now, They're thinking this one through, which I would like to see them just scoop instead. We'll see what happens. All right. Red and white mana for a core Spirit Dancer. Okay. I don't know what's going on anymore, to be honest. But I know that I have Remand up after this. That's an interesting one. Huh. I have a lot to... Gosh, we're even going to have an As Foretold here, which I guess that doesn't actually help very much in this circumstance. So I can kill the Curator with the Izzet Charm. I'm really terrified of that Spirit Dancer. I don't understand why there's a Spirit Dancer over there. I'm also considering cycling in my upkeep so I can scry my draw step. But if I just hit a land, I'll have Remand, so maybe I don't want to do that. I don't know. I actually don't know what our opponent's playing, which is kind of neat. And we hit our land anyways. So, that means we have double Remand open. That means I'm just sending the team in. Because I think pretty much anything my opponent could do here that I would be concerned about, we're going to be able to handle with our counter magic. So we're going to get in. They're just chump blocking. So the game's just over. I also have... I'm still in the dark, by the way, about what Phantasmal Image plus Core Spirit Dancer means out of a Mardu. This isn't even Mardu. Red, white, blue. Out of a Jeskai shell? I don't know. Phantasmal Images? It's got to be something, right? Because these are really random cards. Let's assume it... And again, I keep... You know, I go for an authentic experience when I record these videos. And I just jump in the 2-man queues because that's how a lot of people play Magic. On Magic Online. I just jump in the 2-man queues and I play. So that's what we've done. So I have no idea what we're up against, but this is a pretty random assortment of cards to pull at random. So I think they've probably got Mirror Crusader and Core Spirit Dancer. Tells me that there are going to be enchantments. I wish I knew what was in their hand, but I mean, hey, we won the game, so I guess I'll take that. Man, but you know, for what it's worth, Living End also seems pretty good against them. Just gotta think about the counter magic. So Chalice of the Void here, I can play it on 1 always in this deck. That's pretty sweet. I saw Ops out of my opponent. I just have no idea what they're doing. You know, are the Blood Moons good? No, they play Mountains and they even showed us several basics. I guess I can get the Ingot Chewers in here to hedge. I don't exactly know what's going on here. Not entirely sure how to sideboard with this deck either. I know this deck functions a little differently than the other Living End deck, which I know how to board with pretty well. So I think I like this though. And trim. I mean, Izzet Charm's actually just good, but we got to trim something, and I do need to at least have answers in my deck to any, you know, artifact graveyard hate shenanigans here. So 1 land, as we're told, double Electrodominance, double Cycler. I'm pretty bad about keeping hands like this, but in this case I am going to mulligan. The double red on the Electrodominances is what did it. I won't be playing those anytime soon. This hand looks much better. There's a Cycler. We're on the draw. We got to go cycle, remand, cycle, cycle, and hey, we'll see what we get. That's what I love about Living End as a deck. You know, any version of the deck, right? It's one of the extraordinarily rare combo decks where the combo pieces fuel you finding more combo pieces, right? Lots of cards protect and fuel. Think about Izzet Charm, for instance, right? We can use it to dig to the combo by looting. We can use it to protect the combo by spell piercing with it. Heck, it even kills removal. But what it, you know, that card is not part of our combo. You know, the old Living Index, in this one as well. You know, cycling creatures, and that's part of the combo, right? The combo is to put creatures into graveyard and then cast Living End one way or another. So I love that the active cycling cards digs you deeper into your deck, and it really makes, you know, the format's so fast now, maybe this is less true than it used to be, but there are so many keepable hands with Living End. I don't know if that's more or less a thing with this particular version of the deck. I mean, on the one hand, you have things like Remand to clean it up, but there's less cyclers overall. Our opponent's still doing nothing, though. Playing Scare, that's fine with me. I mean, honestly, our deck can play, not entirely on their turn, but you can play a lot on their turn. And there is our As Foretold. So, not in any position to do anything quite yet here, but if my opponent just wants to do this type of stuff, you know, if they try to tap out and I get to remand it, that's great. Then I just get Slam Ass Foretold. And though we can't win with it yet, I mean, you just get value off it. Sometimes the game just goes 5 turns and you cast creatures off of your Ass Foretold. But we'll see. They may just hold up more counter magic or whatever, in which case I just continue to play at instant speed here, and that's what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch first. I have almost all the lands I need at this point. I guess we're fine to just fetch out a basic. Cycle this. Cycle this. And this hits for more. So it's also interesting. I mean, our opponent, they also missed their 3rd land drop, I guess. So there's a Talaria West for us. So that's actually pretty nice here. I'm going to pass again, I think. They just have to have counter magic, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. You know, alternatively, I could just transmute here. Not the worst idea, but I think I just like passing. We still have 2 cyclers we're holding up. In fact, I could just play a Curator of Mysteries next turn. In fact, I might do that, depending on how this goes here. My opponent's finally going to cast a spell. And I guess we're going to find out if it's Rest in Peace. And Rest in Peace is the one I care about here, so we're going to remand this. I don't know. And we're going to get Spell Pierced, I think. That's going to make the game harder. For sure. Not impossible, but it's certainly going to be harder. You know, I just have so many options available to me here, to be honest. Vendilion Click. You know, the thing is, I don't even hate just playing As Foretold here. It's the only chance we're going to get to play As Foretold. It only gets better as the game goes on. All that said, you know, I could just play Curator Mysteries here and hope to sort of be off and running in terms of actually killing them. That might be better because they are going to have to... This is the highest upside, I think, if they don't deal with it, is playing the Curator Mysteries here. And if they do deal with it, either they're going to do it on their turn, or they're going to do it on our turn in our combat step, or radiant attack, whatever. The point is, we should still have an opportunity to play that As Foretold around counter magic mana, depending on what happens exactly. That Spell Pierce out of the sideboard, that was pretty good. I assume out of the sideboard anyways. And we are untapping with our Curated Mysteries. Oh my gosh, now I have Cryptic Command. This is why I love this deck, everybody. And you want to see what I'm going to do here? This play's going to be sick. Well, I could just click them, though. It's probably better to click them. I just want to transmute my Talaria West. But I shouldn't do that. I should play the safe game here. I'm just going to play the Talaria West. That mana doesn't even do me anything, right? This is so hard, but as long as my opponent's representing mana and we're killing them, I just see no reason to change anything. So I'm going to pass the turn back here. I'm going to let them do whatever it is they do. We have Cryptic Command if we need it. If not, I'll Vendilion Click them in the end step. So we should at least tie up some of their mana here. I can still cycle this if I'd like. We've been remanded. Okay. Fair enough. And we get a Scry with this Curator Mysteries. That's nice. And then we get a draw that's so good. And I get a bottomless Talaria West I don't want. Or do I want it? Whatever, I'll take it. Why not? Talaria West has a lot of value in our deck. And I still have the Vendilion Click line that's still, you know, available to me. I still get to hit my opponent for 4 here. I made a land drop. I get to pass the turn back with everything still up. I think I'm just perfectly fine playing the game this way. And maybe this is wrong. Maybe I should have just slammed that As Foretold a million turns ago. But all it takes is one wear tear or something like that to make us wish we had played the Curator of Mysteries. So, because even if my opponent had pathed it, I still would have been fine having played it. So I'm gonna try to click him again. And that's just gonna work. That's pretty nice. I do want to see what they're doing. I may win. I at least want to see what my opponent is doing. What in the heck? What kind of combo deck is this? Enchant creature has Shroud. Oh, they have Fate Foretold. Now this card was good. Tillinolli's Crown. and a negate. Well, we're going to take the negate, and then we're going to just win the game. But interesting deck. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the negate. Maybe I should have just let him have it. But nah, I should take the negate. A little odd. I can't say I expected the game to go exactly like this. Yes, our opponent didn't have as impressive a deck as I thought, but I guarantee you when their deck goes off, it looks pretty good. You know, giving a creature, putting a bunch of stuff onto a creature and then giving it Shroud, that's pretty good, because the thing is, Shroud means you can't be targeted by anybody, including yourself with your enchantments, but if they're already on it. So this is basically a Jeskai Heroic deck, if I had to guess. They just didn't draw any of its Heroic creatures, so a little unfortunate for them, but, I mean, you see, our deck's done what it's wanted to do. You know, we've played Countermagic, we've played Living Inns, we've played just big flyers, just showing that, hey, Rest in Peace, pretty beatable. Want to draw a card by enchanting Arvendoing Click. Okay, I guess that's fine. Its controller draws a card, though, when it dies. So when they kill Arvendoing Click, we get it. And they can try to cast something here. I can... See, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty clever. Casting Tylenol, I like that. Alright, I'm going to counter draw. That's pretty funny, though, because Tylenol's Crown, dealing 1 damage to an enchanted creature, is actually going to kill our Vendilion Click. And, to be honest, it's going to kill our Vendilion Click when they have another one. Because they did have 2, although they don't have the red mana here. So, alright, it looks like we're going to get there. Taking it down. A little odd. I can't say I expected to ever control a Vendilion Click with 2 Fate Foretold's on it. And if I put that at, 0.1%, I don't even want to calculate the odds of, not even playing... Gosh, what is this card called? Not even playing Fate Foretold in my deck, but then having to put on my creatures. But there you go, everybody. Electro end. I mean, I think obviously our opponent was playing a little bit of a brew here, but the relevant things are, we beat a Rest in Peace. Our opponent kept this hand because it had a Rest in Peace and not what else they needed to execute their own game plan, and we just made that look silly. And that's what it does. That's what our deck can do. So there you go, everybody. Electro end. Let's play some more. Thanks for watching. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Electro end. So I believe we're on the play here. Definitely keeping this hand. And, man, this hand might be pretty good, right? We've got the Talaria West to lead on here. That's fine. But after that, we have the Izzet Charm or the Cycle, whichever we prefer. And then we have, an Ancestral and a Living Inn. That's kind of that's what you want to see right there. And there's an Electrodominance just because we can. So, all right, we're going to pass the turn here, see what our opponent does before we make our mind up about what we want to do. More Flooded Trance, huh? Into Hallowed Fountain. Okay. Might actually be up against control this time. Yep, I would say so. All right, so in that case, let's just go ahead and... I think shocking myself won't matter here. Yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to cycle this now. I only get punished if I hit another cycle. I did not. Okay, so this is all reasonable, I guess. We're going to get Logic Knotted here. I'm going to try to just pass the turn back. I hate playing against control. It is very difficult when you play combo decks against control. Win or lose, I think I've actually had my fair share of success with combo decks against control decks, but playing against blue-white control is never a fun experience, although... Kind of catch a break if... Oops, come on, camera. Kind of catch a break if they're actually going to do this here. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I'm actually going to resolve an As Foretold. In fact, given that, I'm going to Izzet Charm here. So I can discard this. I mean, there's no reason to discard that, depending on how I want to do this. It's hard to say. I probably do just need to discard it. I might even be able to get rid of the... Cryptic? It's actually kind of hard. I guess I can get rid of the island. Alternatively, I just get rid of Electrodominance, I suppose. I'm definitely... Alright, I just need to think this turn through. I'm going to assume that my opponent has nothing except maybe removal, and I'm going to go for a best case scenario here, which means I'm going to discard 1 Living End, and I'm going to discard the Electrodominance, I think. And then I'm going to play a land. I'm going to cycle the Stripe Riverwinder. Although I guess cycling it is just the same as getting another card. if those other cards would be what I'm discarding, if that makes sense. So maybe I just discard the Island and the Riverwinder here. That's actually probably just fine. Sorry, it took me a minute there, but I think I came to a good conclusion. Now we just hope to resolve a spell, and you know, the thing is, this might actually work. If my opponent made a mistake and thought they were safe here, if they don't have Spell Pierce, basically, yeah, and they don't, this might just work. We get to get rid of their Wall of Omens, which not exactly the most relevant of things, but hey, board wipe's a board wipe. And I think we might have just won. I mean, this is going to demand a verdict, a Supreme Verdict or a Wrath of God from our opponent, which, to be fair, they might have, but even if they do, we get to bring them right back. So, it's actually pretty good for us. I mean, Kitchen Finks doesn't really matter. It's a little speed bump, but I think, you know, the 5/5 hexproofs just might get there. And, you know, not worth nothing. We're putting counters on As Foretold, and there you go. We get to cast an Ancestral Vision for free off the top. What a good card. Now I have Remand plus Cycles. Yeah, I'm just going to cycle now, see if I can hit a land drop, but then I'm just going to go ahead and keep up Remand. Alright, no lands. That's fine. I think this game's going to work out for us here. You know, our opponent's just doing this plan, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's certainly nothing wrong with having a Kitchen Finks. But it slows the bleeding by a lot. You know, it's going to gain them 4 life and block 10 damage, and that's actually very impressive. But, you know, all of that said, it might not be enough, because my opponent's still going to need a board wipe. You know, or a Giant Entreat the Angels or something. And that's just going to be kind of difficult against what we have here. And, you know, now they're doing this. I just get to cycle some of these things away and try to find some land. Although that, yes, that might be harder than it looks. All right, I guess I really got punished for discarding that one island earlier, huh? Little did I know that was all I was going to be allowed this game. I guess so. All right, well, let's attack. I love that Electrodominance is an instant, by the way. I actually don't know that I played it as an instant. Never. Settle, huh? That's pretty good. I'm going to Remand. I'm going to Izzet Charm this. I can cast with As Foretold too, huh? Alright, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to cast it with As Foretold. You know, I actually might have messed up. I might have thought this was a sorcery, messed up a game. It's, oh my gosh, we got Spell Pierced. Fortunately, I can Remand this Spell Pierce. Or Spell Snare, rather. This is actually perfect. Oh my gosh, we even get the cycle out of it. Okay, well then. No, this is still perfectly fine, to be honest. I mean, we get to get in there yet again. And now I have 3 instant speed Living Ends in my hand. It did take me. I maybe forgot that this was an instant when some of the either games I played with or talked about it. I'm not entirely sure what I've recorded yet. In terms of games, you know, they kind of blend together between the practice and the throw in. I threw in some little bit of practice, but definitely new to this card, that's for sure. Played a fair amount of the mono blue Living End deck, but not with Electrodominance before. All right, that's somewhat of an answer, right? I can play an As Foretold for free with my other As Foretold. All right, well, I guess I will. But if we're lucky, this game's just going to end real soon. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to. Oh, I can play the As Foretold off the As Foretold. My gosh, and then I can cast Electrodominance off the As Foretold. And it doesn't matter that X is 0. This deck's insane. I love it. I love this deck. Blue-white control, no problem. I mean, literally, my opponent could Wrath right now, and my creatures would die, and then I would bring them back with Electrodominance. And if my opponent somehow countered that, I would bring them back with another Electrodominance. Unfortunately, what I think is actually going to happen here is our opponent is going to try to Cryptic Command our attack step. So, good news is we get As Foretold, and I can actually cast a Cryptic Command here, so... Okay. Alright, game. If you say so. Well, I'll try. Oh, we're just going to attack. Might just be good enough. All 4 Electrodominances, huh? So they want to play a Snapcaster, do they? They want to play a Snapcaster with what? You're still dead with Snapcaster. Oh, they want to settle. They want a Snapcaster settle, which is actually pretty impressive for what it's worth, but it's going to lose to this Cryptic Command that I went through 26 cards of my deck. Literally almost half of my deck. I put 1 land in my graveyard. I guess 2 if you count the Scalding Tarn. And, yeah, we still get enough 4th lands to cast Cryptic Commands, but turns out our deck's more broken than that. Counter target spell, draw a card, please. For free. Off of the ass, we're told. That means we get in for lethal damage on to game 2 against control here. So it's going to get a lot more difficult. Chalice of Void's pretty good, and so is Blood Moon. Blood Moon's maybe not great, I guess. To figure out what I want here. It seems kind of hard, to be honest. The Remands are probably the worst spell I have. They're also one of the few ways to protect what I'm doing. I mean, I certainly don't like cutting it here, but I don't know what else I would cut, right? I mean, I can, even if I were to cut, let's say this, another one in here. Are they... I mean, Izzet Charm's pretty good, too. It's hard to say. Maybe I don't want that many Chalices. Maybe I don't want that many Ingot Chewers. Try this, I guess? I mean, you have to keep in mind, sideboarding always going to be, you know, a... you could say a skill, but it's really an art more than a science, I think, a lot of the times. Even when people have sideboard guides, I think that there's so many variations. You know, you go to a GP, you may play burn 5 times, but there's sometimes enough variations between those. Maybe they have Nakatals, maybe they're just red-white, maybe they just have the green for the sideboard. You know, maybe they're red-black, maybe they're Light of the Sage Skewer the Critics, a Billion Bolts version. You know, that's my point. Is you can take one archetype and it can become 5 different decks, and that changes how you sideboard. So having a piece of paper that you printed off that says, this is my sideboard against burn, maybe not always going to be exactly one for one what you want to do. Although, I mean, I guess to be fair, Burn's going to have pretty specific sideboard cards, so maybe you would always want those. But the point stands, I think. You know, replace Burn with 4 different company decks, or, you know, 4 different versions of Jeskai, or whatever you want. That's the point. There's so many decks in Modern, and so many weird decks and decks you're never going to see, and all of this stuff that I think, you know, it's not like sideboard guides. I'm never going to tell you not to have one or that they're bad, but it is more important to learn how to sideboard than it is simply to learn what to sideboard, if that makes sense. So, and I don't know that I'm any good at either of those things, for the record. I do like that I'm going to suspend this Ancestral Vision on turn 1, though. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm filming these videos, and you will be getting these after I get back. Yeah, I kind of expected that to happen at some point this game. GP Toronto, Magic Fest Toronto, covering the GP, as well as the, you know, the larger Magic Fest event. Pretty excited, you know, about it, to be honest. I went through, you know, a lot of changes with coverage and how everything's going. Magic's going through a lot of changes, and most of them are good for the game, but I'm really glad to see Channel Fireball step up, take over coverage at GPs, and there's something, you know, there's some kind of coverage, and that's what matters. All right, so let's go ahead and fetch here. This game's going to get pretty hard. I do feel like that's going to be true, but we'll start cycling here and see what we can do. You know, Curator Mystery is probably our best friend in the matchup. That's not bad either. I'm going to get rid of that one, actually, though, simply because, I don't know, this feels like one of the few ways we have to actually win the game. And I don't really have any outs to this card. You can see the Ingot Chewers, but I thought since my opponent has Snapcaster, they weren't going to play Rest in Peace, but I guess that was wrong. I come back to get us here, too. All right, so we do have an Ancestral Vision suspended. Just suspend another one. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get there this way, so to speak, but we can try. For what it's worth, Living End also works as a Wrath, even if there's nothing to bring back. Now, our opponent's going to have to start fighting over these. We just want to hit lands, so this is fine, even though You know, I wish I could cast... I wish it was last turn I cast a Cryptic Command off of it with an untapped land, but... Our opponent's not going to kill us anytime soon, I guess. Unless I just slam something here. They did not. All right, so I think this is where we're going to get our first shot in Ancestral Vision. And we'll see what my opponent... what they want to do to fight over this here. I have Cryptic Command to fight back if I want. I might. I probably will. While I'm sitting at 4 mana and nothing else to do with it. Especially if they're actually going to use a Cryptic to try to stop me. Counter target spell, draw a card. Yeah. You know, for what it's worth, Cryptic Command at some point can bounce Rest in Peace. You know, Cryptic Command could bounce the Rest in Peace, and then we could, with enough mana, actually cycle things and bring them back all in the same turn, or at least in the same instep into untap sort of thing. Oh, I discard the hand size here. I guess this Ingature is not going to be doing much. I guess it's just not. I mean, it is a card I could play an attack with, but something's got to go, right? I guess, you know, the only reason I'm not pitching the Living End is because I actually think Cryptic Command bounce Rest in Peace, you know, try to get back a Sidewinder with the Electrodominance actually makes use of the most cards in our hand. That's what I'm going to try for here. At least we get more mileage out of our cards at that point. You know, it's going to be, let's see here. Couple turns on this Ancestral Vision, right? 2 more turns? Yeah, sure. Lyra Dombringer, huh? Okay. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. It's actually one short of just killing Lyra with the Electrodominance play. And it's one short of casting a Riverwinder, unfortunately. This card's going to be a problem. But I guess step 1 is play Chalice for 1. And keep up Cryptic Command, I suppose. You know, Chalice for 1 is pretty good. It turns off the Path to Exiles, the Ops. Yeah, I mean, actually, you know, to be quite honest, it's really not that bad against them. And I think that this might be the turn I go for it. Depending on what my opponent does, I might go for the Cryptic Command, bounce the Rest in Peace, and attempt to Electrodominance into stuff on my turn. I mean, it's possible, right? You know, if when they just pass like that, maybe not, but I give it a shot, I guess. Let's return the Rest in Peace and see what we can do. Or at least attempt to. I mean, if nothing else, it might bait out countermagic from our opponent, and then if we hit an untapped land, I can attempt to Electrodominance the Lyra, which is not bad. I can also wipe the Lyra at any point with the Electrodominance. We're going to get Cryptic Command back. Returning our Chalice. Well, that's pretty good. But we do have this coming up here. This turn even, I believe, right? Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Let's draw 3 more. Found a land. Found a lot, actually. All right, so they have 2 mana open. Could be a lot of things. Could also be a lot of stuff they can't play. You know, that just has to be something that I keep in mind, is that there's a lot of cards my opponent just can't play with a Chalice in play. So Chalice is not in play yet. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to go for the As Foretold that we drew here. And it's actually just going to work. Okay, so now we're going to Living End for 0. Yeah, okay. We just to wipe the Lyra. And now I'm going to cast the Chalice of the Void for 1. See what happens. This is a weird game, but we might get there. I mean, we're going to get Spell Snared. That's fine. I don't mind getting Spell Snared. I'm just going to try again. I drew all of them, so come at me with those Spell Snares. If you have another one, though, they didn't. All right, so honestly, things might be looking up for us at this point. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. Wow, that one is not going to do anything. They have 1 card in hand, and they can't cast any 1-drops. So we're not out of the clear yet here by any means, but to be quite honest, we're making some progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, huh? I may as well go for it at this point, right? I mean, this is how we're going to win the game. And our opponent has exactly one card in hand, so if it's not Cryptic Command. Spoilers. I think we're going to win. I think we're actually going to take this down by playing 7 mana 5/5s that I played an Hour of Devastation Limited. I love it. Modern's so good when Modern's good. When Modern's bad, Modern's pretty bad, but when it's good, it's great. And this is pretty insane, to be honest. So I'm going to attack here. I will pay 2 to declare my attacker, sure thing. Lyra was a nice sideboard. I'm not really sure why he played over Baneslayer. Maybe they play both. I don't know. But this is pretty nice. So now I'm going to transmute. I'm going to go get another Ancestral Vision. I'm going to attempt to Ancestral Vision myself. Going back up to 7 cards in hand. Oh, my opponent found something. No, they didn't. They found a Restoration Angel. Not going to be good enough. Alright, what do we hit here? That's a bunch of stuff. I already had not played a land, so that's fine. Well, I have Electrodominance up here. Not that I need it. I may as well just transmute this. I think I want a Living End, to be honest. I don't think I want more. I mean, more cards is pretty good too, though. The cards left in my deck are pretty good. And we're about to have. It's just whether or not I care about the Resto Angel and or anything they might follow up with, and I don't think I do. I think I just want this. I'll wait till my next turn to try it, but they can't play 1-drops. They have to try to find a way to kill us, and we have Cryptic Commands to try to, stop that from happening. We have Ancestral Vision, draw a bunch of cards. Our As Foretold's only getting better. I mean, heck, I can even Electrodominance the Resto Angel to death. And now you add in this Vendilion Click, and this game's going to be real hard for our opponent. Yes, I will pay 2. So I can actually Vendilion Click for free. I actually have a lot of options. It's pretty sick. I'm going to pass the turn. There's so many things available to us right now. It's actually pretty disgusting. So, I didn't Vision because I don't want to have to discard. All right, so I'm going to take this hit. Don't think they're killing us out of nowhere with blue-white here, but this is the cool part. Actually, let's do this the right way. Vendilion Click for free in the instep. Thanks to As Foretold. Oh, okay. Resto for my opponent, huh? What if I Cryptic Commanded this? Cryptic Command, bounce the other Resto. Get in for 8, put him down to 5. Forcing chump blocks, just killing him with Electrodominance after that? Certainly not bad. But I can also just tap their team with Cryptic Command and do the same thing. So I'm going to let this resolve because if the Vendilion Click shows the coast is clear, we're just going to untap and win, I think. So, but maybe not. We'll see. No, I do think this shows the coast is clear. We're just going to win the game. Well, then. They can't cast Settle, can they? They have Purge, which doesn't do anything. Let me just click on this to get the text real quick. No, Purge exiles a black or red permanent. Settle the Wreckage, they can't cast. And they don't have the mana to cast it. So they're just dead. I'll just let them have this. Now I will Cryptic Command to tap down their team. Tap all creatures my opponent controlled. Draw a card. Actually, I think I should tap Bounce. I'm going to return the Ghostly Prison. I think I need to do this. This deck is so cool, I won't lie. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Alright, we'll draw 3 because we can. There's an Izzet Charm, so we would have had protection anyways. Alright, so You're going to like how we win. We're going to get in for 8, and then we're going to Electrodominance our opponent to death. Because it does that. It turns out, on top of everything else Electrodominance is, it's also a fireball. And I hear the fireballs are pretty good. So that's pretty neat. This deck's cool. Having a lot of fun. X is currently 5. We did it. We even have the Izzet charm up for protection that we don't need. Okay, I'll cast. I won't cast any of these. No. No, you could just die. You could just lose. We did it. We took down blue-white control. I did not expect that at all. We beat Rest in Peace. Beating Rest in Peace. It's so awesome. That was great. What a match, everybody. This was a lot of fun. This deck was great. This is the kind of Mighty Modern decks I love. Just, it's on the fringe of the format, and it's neat, and it's a brew, and it beats real decks, right? And just one of those things, you just randomly 9-0, day 1 of a GP, spike a top 16, a top 32, and SCG Open. These things happen. And hopefully they'll happen again in Modern now with KCI banned. But that was a fun one, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this week. I know some people have asked me to include a little more. They just want to kind of know what's going on. I know we missed a Mighty Modern a couple weeks ago. There were some technical difficulties that happened there. I've actually been changing out my whole setup, so I'm trying to make everything more streaming friendly and YouTube friendly and all of that stuff. So please keep the feedback coming in, keep the suggestions coming in, and I will take it all into account. Everybody, thank you for watching. Hey everybody, here we go with some more Electro and say any hand with both of those cards in it is a pretty good one here. So we have everything we need, right? We have Cyclers, we have Ancestral, we have Electrodominances and Living Ends. What we are still going to need, though, is creatures in our graveyard to make that work. So let's go ahead and cycle this Desert Ceradon. Expire Bluff Canal is perfect. My gosh, is this worth it? It truly is, because I have 2 Tularia Wests in hand. I've never done this before. I don't know how you're supposed to play this deck, but I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know what we're supposed to do here, but I'm going to attempt to do 0 damage to my opponent with Electrodominance. I'm going to cast a Living End from my hand. And I'm going to get a 6-4 on turn 2. So, the thing is, my opponent is probably just going to path this card. And that is okay. Wow, they're actually not. They actually did not get a white source there. I expected it. They might just be fetching because they're going to fetch a white source now. Nope, that's blue-red. Thing in the Ice. Okay. All right, so we're up against a Thing in the Ice, Manamorphose, Arc-like Phoenix. That deck is very good in Modern. So I am a little bit wishing right now, obviously, that I had saved this, perhaps, the Living End. But with 2 Tularia West in our hand, we can just transmute for another Living End. And as a matter of fact, this is just going to be difficult for our opponent all around, I think, because, on the play, the turn 2 6-4 against our opponent playing red, actually pretty good. And now I can just play an As Foretold here. And that means that next turn I can transmute a Tularia West for another Living End. If I wanted, probably won't be doing that. But I will be transmuting this Tularia West for an Ancestral Vision and drawing 3 cards. So hopefully our opponent doesn't just flip this Thing in the Ice right now on turn 3, which they might. They added blue with the Manamorphose, so that's a start, I guess. No Faithless Lootings, please. These are the first videos I've recorded post-banning, now that I think about it. And honestly, I don't know. In post-bannings, I just mean, obviously, KCI getting the axe here, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the metagame reacts to that. Also, I think our opponent is literally just going to flip Thing in the Ice on turn 3. I thought I did pretty good. I had a 6-4 on turn 2. My opponent has a 7-8 on turn 3. That bounces all of my creatures. It's pretty rude, to be honest. The good news is it's going to work out just fine for us. Especially if I were to hit a... Oh, we're getting... it's no long... Really? Oh, that changes things. I thought it was going to be fine. I was going to transmute it to Tularia West and get another Living End and cast it for free. Get rid of the Awoken Horror. And if we hit a land, even get my Desert Ceradon back into play. But I won't lie. The main deck Surgical Attraction, now I get it. This deck is built to break Thing in the Ice and flip it on turn 3 every single game, and this hand certainly did that. That's why you play the 0-cost spells like Surgical. But man, that is a blowout against our deck. Game 1 Graveyard Hate. It's not really fair, right? I'd love to get attacked for 7 on turn 3. I mean, I can Cryptic Command to bounce that, which, you know, might slow him down a little bit here. That's probably got to be my plan, right? Oh, I can't Cryptic Command here. I see. Well, what I definitely need to do then is just transmute. We'll go get an Ancestral Vision, see what we can do, I guess. I can draw 3. 3 is not bad. Problem is we're just going to die to like a stupid lightning bolt at this point. That's the real problem here, I think. Alright, well, we'll pass the turn and hope that we don't die. I don't think this Ancestral is going to have time to be relevant, but we're just going to get hit for 7 and then get lightning bolted. Very fair game. You know, our opponent might not even have the Arc-like Phoenixes in there. They might, but they might not. They have Charter Course, though. I actually really like what they've got going on over there. I bet they are... there's the bolt. All right, so never really had a chance in that one, as it turns out. I say that. You know, I obviously could have played differently, right? I went for that turn 2. I honestly thought they were going to be playing Control, and I went, you know, and I went for the 6-4 on turn 2 because I thought that Living End was just never going to do anything or never resolve. I wanted to put something into play that they had to deal with so that I could then resolve my Azratold unmolested and then transmute and draw 6 cards off of those 2 Talari Wests, because I thought we were going to be playing... I thought when I saw Flooded Strand pass, I thought it was going to be, you know, blue-white Control or something like that. I didn't think it was going to be blue-red Thing in the Ice on turn 2, so lesson learned, that's for sure. Also, Chalice of the Void, very good here. Izzet Charms are fine. They're actually not great. The Remands, to be honest, aren't insane either. Probably cut an Electrodominance. It doesn't do too much. And we obviously have to have so many ways, but the old Living Index would run 7 ways to do it, and so 7 seems fine here as well. It'd be 4 Violent Outbursts, 3 Demonic Dread, so shaving 1 card here seems perfectly fine. Excuse me, and this is 60. Blood Moon doesn't seem like it's very good here. The problem is Izzet Charm is okay, but basically, I don't know. If they flip Thing in the Ice on turn 3, I guess we can just probably never win. If they flip Thing in the Ice on turn 3 by surgically extracting our Living Ends, that's the line that lost us game 1 there. So that was, I don't know if I'm supposed to feel bad about that one. But you have to also keep in mind, right? I'm just gonna suspend this thing. Because I'm not guaranteed of resolving the Asphartold on turn 3 to cast that for free. But the alternative is getting it on turn 4, right? And that's a nice refill if they do answer the Asphartold on turn 3. Yeah, I think I played that last. I don't know that I played. I'm not going to say I necessarily played it, let's say, right. Because, I mean, clearly we didn't win and there were other options available to me. But I do think the line I took there was actually defensible. I thought we were just going to get pathed, but have an Asphartold in a bunch of cards and just kind of try to go from there. I didn't expect it to go quite like that. I guess I'll cycle this. Now, my opponent still has no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing Talaria West. I'm going to gain a little bit of value while I can, because it might be the difference between, you know, them tapping out on turn 2 or not here. And there is the Thing in the Ice. So, okay, well, let's hope we find a Living End here. I mean, we can beat it with a Living End. Also good news, I mean, we are going to resolve Asphartold, which, I mean, it has to at least be step 1, right? Get the spell into play for free. If we hit a blue land here, we get to play a Cryptic Command just naturally, and that's pretty good. If not, we can cycle and see where we go. But if my opponent just flips Thing in the Ice on turn 3 again, it might be a little rough. Especially if there's Arc-like Phoenixes involved. There weren't last time. And I've seen this before. F6, please. Manamorphose into This deck is so good at flipping thing in the ice. I mean, sometimes if they have... I mean, we did our thing too, right? Our deck actually accomplished what it wants to accomplish in that we have a Ancestral in play, we've cycled, we have Electrodominance. We actually have a lot going on for us, but what our opponent's doing might turn out to be a little more powerful. That's an Arc-like Phoenix. Man, I feel... I've said a lot of stupid things about Magic in my life. Anybody who's played the game long enough has, but calling this card bad, it might have been up there. It might have been up there, I won't lie. Neat. They have the Wear Tear to flip it. What a game. It's turn 3. They interacted by killing our thing and attacking us for 10 damage, huh? Man. I said turn 4 earlier. I meant turn 5 with this. But I thought that was going to be okay. Fortunately, we did actually hit our land, so I can at least attempt on their turn to tap down their creatures and draw. And, I mean, the truth is, if somehow we actually are allowed to resolve, if we draw a Living End, and if we're allowed to resolve it, we might, even be okay. We are going to draw a bunch of cards next turn, so if the Cryptic Command resolves, we'll get a shot. I'm not convinced it's going to. I mean, we're playing against what's probably the best deck in Modern right now. It's hard to say, but this blue-red Phoenix deck is extremely good. There's a land. You can get a shot here. I mean, I say that. The thing is, it's extremely good at doing what it just... Oh my gosh, the bolts begin. It's extremely good at doing what it just did. Sometimes if maybe it doesn't interact on the right axis, then it's, it can be pretty bad, right? If we're playing KCI or something like that. But let's see what we draw off the Ancestral Vision here. Bunch of cards that don't save us, huh? Yeah, those cards, they do not save us. I could Tolaria West for a Living End and play it. Wait, I can do this. Oh, we're okay. Or at least we're going to try. I thought we were dead, but we're not. We can transmute here. And this is why this deck is good, everybody, by the way. Regardless of whether or not this works, or whether we just get Arc-like Phoenix out of the game after we do this, this is neat. This is cool. We can transmute to Tolaria West for Living End, cast our Electrodominance 4-0, playing the Living End from our hand for free, at least attempting to get these things off the board and give ourselves a Desert Ceridon. Not exactly where we wanted to be, I'm sure you can tell. But hey, we did it. We wiped the board. That was a pretty rough Ancestral Vision plus draw step. I mean, it worked, I guess, but it's not like we have a lot going on now. I could shock myself and hardcast a Desert Ceridon next turn. Yeah, I just assume this Arc-like Phoenix is going to come back here and kill us, or we're going to get Lightning Bolted and die here. Manamorphose is just a broken card. That's I think the trick, right? Storm, all of these broken decks, every single one of them, even my stupid, terrible mono-red tokens list, they all rely on Manamorphose. I need Surgical again. All right. It's so weird because you look at Manamorphose in a vacuum, and you're like, oh, this is fine. That's a cool card, whatever. Fixes your mana. Cycles. Neat. And in Shadowmoor, it actually made perfect sense, but turns out neutral mana +1 card, it's the same as all the other broken stuff, right? It's Street Wraith. It just, doesn't take anything to just bounce itself. Or I'm sorry, to cycle itself. A whole bunch of stuff that just things for free. Things that cost less mana, we can bring up Gurmag Angler, Delve as a mechanic, whatever you want to, however you want to look at it. Cheating mana cost has always been the most broken thing in Magic, so it certainly makes sense that in that context, Manamorphose is pretty silly. So, all right, we're down to 1 here. I don't even know what we want to draw. Not that, though. I guess there is good news here. I can play an Electrodominance, and I get to kill an Arc-like Phoenix with an Electrodominance, and then cast nothing out of my hand with it. The dream. Truly the dream. Alright, so we will pass the turn and hope that our opponent can never flip their thing in the ice. Which, to be fair, never mind, they had an opt. They hid an opt, I assume. I was going to say, if they just had a land in hand there, It's conceivable. No, it's not even. It's not even. They have Faithless Living. This deck's broken. Get out of here, game. Our deck's pretty neat, but this is not the matchup we want. I promise you that. Old Living End might actually have a better matchup here because you have instant speed. And they would just get lightning bolted anyways for the rub-ins. All right. Good games. That's how it goes sometimes, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mighty Modern. This week we have the deck tech here for Electro End. So last week we explored Modern with new cards from Ravnica Allegiance, and you saw what Lavinia could do. Now, I know some people said this isn't Death and Taxes. To be honest, you're right. It's not. I mean, that Lavinia deck last week, it wasn't really a Taxes deck, but it had some Tax elements, and I didn't know what to call it, but hey, Lavinia was a sweet one in it, right? So today we have another pretty cool one here with Electrodominance. So, this is from Ravnica Allegiance, rather. Electrodominance deals X damage to any target. You may cast a card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So, you might notice that wording is similar to As Foretold, which says once each turn you may pay 0 rather than pay the converted mana cost for a spell you cast with converted mana cost X or less, or X's number of time counters on this, and you get time counter each turn. So, what both of those cards have in common is that they cast Living End for free. What I mean by that is, As Foretold, you play an As Foretold, you immediately slam a Living End because it has no mana cost. And you can just pay 0. Same with Electrodominance. Just put in your 2 red mana, deal 0 damage to some sort of target, and cast a Living End. So, Living End, of course, is a living death, right? Except it has Suspend. Of course, we're trying to cheat Suspend. Back in the day, you would do it with and you still can. I mean, to be fair, you know, Bloodbraid Elves and Violent Outbursts and Demonic Dreads, that sort of thing, and a bunch of cycling creatures. Of course, cycling creatures make the whole deck work. As you can see, we have Desert Ceradons and a whole Striped Riverwinder at Powerhouse here. As well as Curator of Mysteries, which is actually pretty cool in itself. 4/4 flyer here. So what the deck does not have are any of the black cards, any of the red cards, any of the green cards you typically see in Living End. Instead, we have our ways of casting Living End and Electrodominance, As Foretold. By the way, those cards also cast Ancestral Vision. This might be what this deck needed, to be honest, because this As Foretold mono blue Living End deck, it came out and it was kind of a flash in the pan and it was neat. But the deck didn't really work without As Foretold. But now with Electrodominance, you have 8 ways to cast these cards for simply 2 or 3 mana, and that's a big deal. Round the deck out with countermagic, because we can do that. We're blue. Remand, Vidillion Click for some interaction, and a nice one to bring back. And Cryptic Command, because why not? Straightforward mana base, except Talaria West here. Transmute for 0 to go get a 0 cast card. That's probably going to be our Living End, but it also can be Chalice of the Void after sideboarding here. So this build's a little light on cyclers, but heavier on countermagic. So your Living Ends aren't going to be, you know, as game-winning on the spot necessarily as they would be in the other traditional versions, but they're still going to be pretty good. So Blood Moon's in the board, Chalice of the Void's in the board. Very macabre. This one's in the main deck of a lot of decks, but just discard it from your hand. No cost, instant speed, exile 2 cards from graveyard. Just huge against creature matchups where you need to get cards out of their graveyard. Not to mention it's good graveyard hate. And of course, the classic Ingot Chewer with the old evoke of 1 red when it's about to destroy an artifact. This gets your Relic of Virginitas, your Tormod's Crypt, that sort of thing. So everybody, I hope you enjoy, whether you're watching this beginning at the or the end. This is the deck this week. This is Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and as always, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next week.